Hello, welcome to UCA News at 6. I'm Katie Williamson and here's your headlines. Riot police moved into a illegal Dale Farm site to evict the protesting travellers. More than 2 million young people are out of work as youth unemployment reaches a record high. Workers are taking strike action in Greece as the government announces new cuts. Red faces at the Inland Revenue as millions are set to receive a tax rebate. And we have all your latest sport and weather. But first, our top story this evening. Earlier today, riot police moved in to evict travellers from an illegal site in Essex. Protesters at Dale Farm set up makeshift barricades in an attempt to keep police out. The travellers lost their final appeal against the eviction in court on Monday. Our correspondent, Holly Moore, has been monitoring the events.
These were the scenes from earlier today at the illegal Dale Farm site. Protesters set fire to a caravan and erected barricades in an attempt to keep the riot police out. The travellers tried everything to protect what they regarded as their homes, but they were outnumbered by the strong team of police. One of the protesters was angry at the way the police were handling the eviction.
When we ran down to see what was going on down here, we were down there chatting, and it came too quick. It was too quick. So when we seen the police, we all got shoved. We tried to get out, but they overpowered us. We couldn't move, and they just kept shoving us out of the way. So they shoved me. I fell on the ground, and my friend fell on her back. She hurted her back, and I hurted my face off the wall down at the front. They're rough.
Since the police entered the site, 2 people have been tasered and arrests have been made.
International news now, and a 48-hour strike is underway in Greece. It comes as Parliament announced more tax increases, pay cuts and job losses. The country is struggling with their debts and they fear it could set off a Eurozone crisis. Thousands of protesters gathered in Athens earlier today to unite against the government's decisions. The 2 biggest unions in the country that cover the public and private sector workers set up the strikes that are said to continue until tomorrow. Government departments, large businesses and offices, as well as smaller businesses, have all closed, leaving the country in a complete shutdown. Air traffic workers are staging a 12-hour walkout and more than 150 domestic and international flights were cancelled throughout the course of the day. No trains, buses, taxis or lorries have been operating and hundreds of dock workers protested outside the main port of Piraeus. And finally, around 6 million people are in line to receive a tax rebate. It's the second year running that the Inland Revenue has got it wrong. However, for 1 million other people, the news is not so good. They will soon be receiving a letter telling them that they have underpaid. That means they could owe up to £600. Now in sport, Wales are out of the Rugby World Cup after a narrow loss to France. Our sports correspondent Tom Simpson has more.
60,000 Wales rugby fans crowded into Cardiff's Millennium Stadium to watch their World Cup semi-final against France on Saturday. Despite being over 12,000 miles away from the action, a resounding chorus of Land of Our Fathers rang around the stadium. Wales went ahead in the 7th minute thanks to James Hook's penalty, but the game turned on its head in the 19th minute when Welsh captain Sam Warburton was unfairly sent off for a spear tackle on France's Vincent Clerc. Morgan Parra crucially kicked 9 points for France, but Mike Phillips' try gave Wales hope. As the game ended its final stages, Wales pressed forward in search of a heroic victory. In the final minutes, Lee Halfpenny's penalty agonisingly dropped under the posts, denying Wales a place in next Sunday's final. And the sea of red in the Millennium Stadium went home wondering what could have been. Tom Simpson, UCA News.
Champions League news now. Manchester City substitute Sergio Aguero snatched a dramatic 93rd minute winner against Villarreal last night. The Spaniards were 1-0 up after 4 minutes in the Group A tie thanks to Cani's strike, but an own goal from Carlos Machena and Aguero's late winner allowed to keep pace with Napoli and Bayern Munich, who sit above them. Elsewhere in Europe, Manchester United recorded a hard-fought 2-0 victory over Otel Gulati, thanks to Wayne Rooney's 2 penalties. In local sport now, earlier today, Farnham Park was host to a charity football match. The game was held to commemorate the death of a first-year student from the University of the Creative Arts. Many students gathered for a minute's silence to remember their colleague. That's all for your sport. Now to Holly Moore with the weather.
Thanks, Katie. Tonight, most places will be dry with some showers in the north and west. It will be a mainly clear night with strong northwesterly winds, making the temperatures drop to around 2 degrees. Tomorrow it will be frosty at first with the occasional showers in the north. The rest of the UK will be mainly dry and bright. The showers in the north will turn to rain later on. It's turning milder with highs of 12 degrees. That's all for your weather. Goodbye.
Thanks, Holly. That's all for this evening. Sean Walsh will be back later with the news at 10. Bye-bye.